For anyone who's watching this that might be buying a new place and they're asking themselves, like, well, what is this going to look like if I don't have title insurance? And the worst happens, I need to file title claim. What does that process look like, in terms of like hiring a real estate attorney and what that cost compared to purchasing this peace of mind coverage as title insurance?
Right. So if you have a title insurance policy and you file a title insurance claim, the title insurer will pay to fix the problem, pay for the loss, or hire an attorney to represent you or defend against that lawsuit. So those are the three things you would have to do if you did not have title insurance. So if you did not have title insurance and one of these issues popped up, you'd have to go hire your own attorney or represent yourself, and try to fix the issue. But you may have a piece of property that you're not necessarily able to resell until that issue is resolved. We recently had a transaction where 50 years ago, the family acquired property. They kept transferring the property between themselves, designated future beneficiaries. Then they undid it. Then they transferred it back to other family members. It had gone through several estates and the property was never insured. So that meant that the person who inherited the property back in 2024 had to go back to five family members, because originally there were five siblings that had inherited the property from their mother. And then of those five siblings, all five had passed away. So then you had to go to, you could imagine like a tree, the sub
Yeah.
estates for each of those family members. So in that situation, because the property had not been sold and there was no title insurance associated with it, that person had to do the legwork themselves. They had to drive down to Georgia. They had to drive to North Carolina. They had to drive to Virginia, all to sell this $250,000 property in Maryland. So it just ultimately becomes a burden on the person who owns the property to resolve that issue themselves, to hire attorneys. We had another transaction with a TOPA related claim, Tenant Opportunity to Purchase Act claim. And in that situation, they had to hire independent counsel. The attorneys in DC were charging over $1,000 per hour for their time. So you can just imagine how quickly that adds up. Remember, I mentioned the title insurer will fix the problem, pay you for your loss, or hire an attorney. Those attorney's fees are included under the title insurance claim. So you can imagine if it's $1,500 to purchase a title insurance policy, that may be less than 3 hours of an attorney's time that you have to pay out of pocket. So that's when I'm having these conversations with people that call in, have questions about title insurance. That's how I'm sort of helping them figure out how much risk they want to take on and whether they obtain that policy. But again, highly recommend the enhanced policy. There may be situations, but at least having a standard policy is going to be something that consumers want to strongly consider.
I agree. Well, Kim, thank you so much for talking about this with me. It's important stuff. We get so many questions about this every day from our buyers. So thanks for joining today. And for those of you watching, I hope you found this video helpful. We know that this was a very high level conversation about title insurance. So if you have any specific questions for us about title insurance or even about something else, make sure to drop your comments below.